Health and peace and happiness for everyone. Ashreinu, how good and beautiful is our heritage. Parashat Emor el Cohanim, Tafshin Pei Bet. Why do I stress that the name of the parasha is not just Emor, but it says Emor el Cohanim? The first part of the parasha is halachot that relate to the Cohanim, to themselves, to their work in Beit HaMikdash. Twice in this part of the parasha, the Torah says, V'lo yechalelu et Shem Kodeshi, or V'lo techalelu et Shem Kodeshi. The Kohanim are forbidden to cause a chilul Hashem, a desecration of Hashem's name. The second part of the parasha relates to all of the chagim of the year, and of course that's relevant for all of Am Yisrael. Why is the mitzvah of the prohibition, the isur of chilul Hashem given to the Kohanim, and the second time when the Torah says V'lo techalelu et Shem Kodeshi, it also gives the mitzvah, the positive commandment of Kiddush Hashem, sanctifying Hashem's name, V'nikdashti betoch bnei Yisrael. But why are these mitzvot for the Kohanim? Isn't every Jew commanded to cause a Kiddush Hashem and to refrain from causing something that will be a Chilul Hashem? Of course. But the Kohanim have special responsibility. A Kohen is not just a person who technically performs the actions of the work in the Mikdash. A Kohen is a Torah teacher. The prophet Malachi says, "V'Torah yevakshu mipiu." He is supposed to be a teacher of Torah. He doesn't just work in the Mikdash. He brings the Kedusha, the holiness, with the Torah, with the Emunah, to all of Am Yisrael. So just like the Rambam says, if a person teaches Torah, not only a Kohen, if he teaches Torah, his responsibility to be careful in his behavior, to cause Kiddush Hashem, and not to cause Chilul Hashem, is greater than other people. But yes, it's true that all of Am Yisrael have the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem and the prohibition, the commandment to be careful not to cause Chilul Hashem. And actually, these mitzvot are brought at the end of the part of the parasha that relates to the Kohanim, and just before the parasha moves on to the mitzvot that relate to all of Am Yisrael. Because the Kohanim have special responsibility, but all of Am Yisrael has responsibility to bring about Kiddush Hashem and to refrain from causing Chilul Hashem. And how different is the role of the Kohanim from the role of all of Am Yisrael towards the world, towards all the nations? Am Yisrael is a mamlechet Kohanim, a kingdom of Kohanim, and our mission is to bring emunah, faith, Kiddush Hashem to the world. From these psukim, there are a lot of halachot that we learn. Amongst them, from the words betoch bnei Yisrael, sometimes because of Kiddush Hashem or Chilul Hashem, there are instances where a Jew even has to sacrifice his life because of issues of Chilul Hashem and Kiddush Hashem. We can't get into the details right here. But isn't this interesting? On Yom Hazikaron lechalalei Tzahal, that we learn about the halacha of Mesirut Nefesh, of the instances, the situations where a Jew has to sacrifice his life, right here in Parashat shavuah, which will come right after Yom Hazikaron. But of course, that's not the only form of Kiddush Hashem, as we said before. We strive to bring about Kiddush Hashem in our lives much more than when we have to sacrifice our lives. Maybe from the energies of these tzaddikim, these kedoshim, who brought about a Kiddush Hashem by sacrificing their lives, we can learn and get koach to bring Kiddush Hashem in our lives, in our actions, and not chas v'shalom by sacrificing our lives. There is also a Yerushalmi that says, Gadol Kiddush Hashem yoter michilul Hashem. Kiddush Hashem is greater than Chilul Hashem. What does it mean that Kiddush Hashem is greater than Chilul Hashem? There are two explanations passed on in the name of Arav Tzvi Yehuda Akuk. One of them is that if you have a mixture of Kiddush Hashem and Chilul Hashem, then Kiddush Hashem overrides, is stronger than the Chilul Hashem. The other one is that from some situations of Chilul Hashem, from within Gadol Kiddush Hashem, mi Chilul Hashem, from within Chilul Hashem, we can bring about a Kiddush Hashem. People, Jews, having to sacrifice their lives, whether because they have to refrain from transgressing something in the Torah, or at war in the hands of terrorists and so on, is a Chilul Hashem. But we can learn Kiddush Hashem from it. We can learn the strength, we can learn the Mesirut Nefesh, we can learn how powerful we can be in our lives, bringing about Kiddush Hashem to the world. And if we mentioned that all of Am Yisrael is a mamlechet Kohanim, then what is what comes right after Yom Hazikaron, Yom HaAtzmaut? What is Medinat Yisrael about, if not to be the Mamlechet Cohanim that Am Yisrael is intended to be? To perform our mission to the world, to bring Kiddush Hashem, to bring faith and morality, and sanctify the name of Hashem in the whole world, teaching Torah, bringing emunah, bringing morality to the world. That is the role of the Mamlechet Kohanim, which is expressed in our lives and our times in Medinat Yisrael. So may we have the zchut to cause Kiddush Hashem, Kohanim, Yisraelim, and all of Am Yisrael who are Kohanim towards the whole world in our lives. Take the koach of those who had Mesirut Nefesh to sacrifice their lives to create Kiddush Hashem. Take their koach and turn it into greater Kiddush Hashem in our lives, and have the zchut and the ability to bring Mamlechet Kohanim of Medinat Yisrael closer to its goal of bringing Kiddush Hashem to the whole world. Yom Ha'atzmaut Sameach and Shabbat Shalom.